Ladies and gentlemen of the Cover Killer Nation, I have a real treat for you today. You know, typically we get so sort of bogged down with all of the current releases that we sometimes ignore the past. And every so often, it's nice to go back and listen to one of them and maybe bring a new name, or a name that's not familiar to some of you, out into the open. Such is the case today with the band Bad Salad and their album Uncivilized. This is their first full-length release. It was released in 2012. They released an EP a few years later and are currently working very hard on their second full-length album, and by the end of this review, I'm going to let you know that you're going to want that album once it drops. At least if you're a fan of progressive metal that has similarities to a group such as Dream Theater, who is one of the, of course, bigger names, if not the biggest name, within the subgenre of heavy metal itself. And this 7-track album really showcases why this band was really I guess, chosen or loved by Mike Portnoy whenever he did a Campera contest and really looked at Bad Salad, looked at these Brazilians as a truly unique specimen, a product that certainly has a lot to offer to the progosphere and certainly will be for years to come. Now, these 7 tracks don't necessarily opt to rip off Dream Theater's sound. That's not their intention whatsoever. They still want to have their own unique voice and unique take on the progressive metal market. But whenever you listen to tracks such as Crowded Sky to start this one off, you hear that little bit of aggression, you hear that softer glow that they have, you hear the vocals that almost sound like a guy like Don Dokken is opting to, you know, jump into the progressive metal scope and just sort of do his own thing. And you do get and draw a couple of those allusions. You draw some of those comparisons almost instantaneously to the more famous Dream Theater. But Bad Salad is able to do a little bit more to separate themselves from their more popular masters, where they are able to sort of soften the horizons every so often, dive more into a prog rock landscape, and show that they are truly very talented within both regards. The key section in particular is very strong on a track such as Nemesis, which is track number 2. Either that, or it's something that's even more further seen in a track such as Damned, or especially Sights From Within, which feels like it goes just headlong into the progressive rock universe, basically showing, hey, Dream Theater, this is our way of differentiating ourselves. You've, of course, tried to do some prog rock in the past with an album such as Falling Into Infinity. Well, we're not Adam Blampied, but we can do it better. And really, it shows that with the way in which they have so much confidence. This is really a band that has the swagger of a veteran of the field, as opposed to a group that, back in 2012, was merely bringing to the table their first offering. This is also an album that necessarily will be right up the alley of anybody within the progressive distinction that enjoys the length of prog music the most. And really, this is one that occurs with, I would say, minimal doodling. Yes, there's a lot of guitar solos here that feel like they overextend the length of songs, perhaps even going into other instrumentalization, using the keys and the percussion in order to do the same exact idea. But it's all done tastefully. It feels like it's keeping the composition flowing. And if there's anything that they've really drawn from their more famous master in Dream Theater, it's really that idea, only it's done with, I think, a little bit more in the way of sort of, you know, care. Either that, or they know when to sort of finish the transition. I know that one of the biggest complaints for their more famous master is the fact that they continually just seem to overextend everything. And while this band has only one track that is under the 10-minute mark, all of these additional, you know, ideas feel like they belong, and that they belong in a big way. But nothing really will be able to kind of prepare you for what their debut album is able to conclude with, and that's the song Dawn of the Machine. This is a 2-part track that spans 15 minutes in length and really shows a little bit of that creativity, a little bit of that risk-taking that I love so much from Final Songs and have talked about and documented for the past 6 years. Bad Salad is willing to sort of take what they did with the first 6 songs, kind of toss it out the window a little bit, and now engage in a full-blown story track that has just a wonderful overall flowing narrative behind it, but also is opting to bring in some of the big guns as far as some sound effects and different things were concerned in order to really sell you on the topic, almost as though you're listening to a little bit of a video medium as opposed to solely just an audio track. And that really is something that is, in a way, almost undersells the music a little bit in the fact that this is their strongest track. It delivers a manifesto of flowing keys and crushing guitars, but all the while the vocals and the continuance of the story being the strength that kind of stays with you the most, even if the music is the thing that your mind immediately sort of tapers itself into remembering. You still go back to those lyrics, you still go back to that strong voice, you still go back to the fact that Bad Salad, for being so young whenever this album was released into their careers, have a lot of impression that has been left, and has been left with a very positive light. Now this album may have been released 5 years ago, and I know that typically we stay within the current. But this is an album that if you are one night feeling like you need a progressive album to sort of drift off to, or want to explore something brand new, it's just a day in which you want to find a brand new band. And Bad Salad is a name that real obviously didn't immediately come to mind, because when would that ever? This is an album in Uncivilized. This is a band in Bad Salad that really should get that experimentative, chance from you. It's the one that should actually gain your representation, or the audience with your ears, so to speak. This isn't Game of Thrones. You're not going to be killed off at the end of it, but it's still going to be an experience that may give you a band to watch, especially considering their second album is so close to being upon us. And you can definitely guarantee that when that does drop, it's going to be an almost instant release that needs to be talked about on this channel. That's how highly that I feel toward these guys. If I was giving it a score, for example, I'd give it a 23 out of 30. An impressive first offering. Sure, there are some things here or there that are going to annoy the typical fan of heavy metal music. Sure, not everybody's going to enjoy 10-minute plus songs that are basically, tracks 2 through 7. So basically the only song that is under 10 minutes is the first. But it still shows that progressive music has this drawing power. Something that's, even if it's just a thing here or there, everybody's going to find a little something that they're going to find impressive whenever it comes to Bad Salad. I want to know what you guys think. I have a couple of links for you down in the description box underneath this video. Check it out and let me know what your thoughts are about Bad Salad, and have they made a fan of you just based around these examples. Also, if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and give this a share. Share it with somebody who maybe you think doesn't know this band and loves prog music. I'm CoverKillerNation, and until next time, I'll talk to you later. See ya.